make a mandolin neck. I'm using Vectric Aspire version 12. You can use any Vectric software that you can create 3D models in to use this same process to make the mandolin neck, a banjo neck, Les Paul neck, Fender neck, whichever one you want to use. You can use this same process. You just have to get you a set of plans and get your drawing, get your measurements, and draw them on your software, and then use this process to make it this shape. So let's get started. We're going to start off using a 2-rail sweep. We do the front side of the neck first. Just a two-sided view. And the first thing you want to do is come here to the modeling tab, create component, and add a zero plane to both sides. I already have the zero plane in it. So now we'll go ahead and cut this. I use a boundary box for just the peg head. I don't want to cut the whole neck. We'll raster back and forth. We'll go ahead and do the tuner holes while we're here. Use 1/8 inch bit. We'll project them to the 3D model. And then we'll cut the truss rod while we're here. We're just going to use a 2D profile 0.48 deep, and we're going to cut on the line. So there's the front. And we'll flip over, cut some of these back off. We're going to use the 2-rail sweep again and do the center of the neck. Make sure both your rails are going the same direction, which is indicated with the two. It can be on either end, it don't matter which way, as long as they're both going the same direction. Now we're going to create shape. We're going to do the heel, and we'll make it 1.85 inches tall. And on the combine mode, we'll click on the one on the far right. And now we'll do the peg head. And we'll do it 0.65 thick. And on the component combine mode, we'll do the same thing. The one on the far right, we'll click on it. And then we're going to come back to the 2-rail sweep again, and we'll put some angle on the peg head. I know it looks like I haven't done anything, but I'll fix that right now. We're going to go ahead and we'll drag our 0 plane to the top of the component tree. That brings everything out. And then we'll click on the boundary box that goes around the whole thing. Oh, wait a minute, I need to group these. We'll click on the top one, push down Shift key and click on the bottom one, and then group them. Now we'll click on the boundary, click on Shift, click on the model, and click on this tab here that delete everything on the outside of the boundary. That will bake it, and then it will cut most of that stuff out. So now click on your component and let's go do a little sculpting, smooth some of this stuff out. You can spend all the time you want over here sculpting to get everything smoothed out, but you're still going to have a little hand work. It's going to leave tool marks, but this will eliminate about 90% of the work of making a neck all by hand. And most mandolins, and you take the Les Paul neck, it doesn't have this volute right here. I like the looks of a neck with a volute. Plus, I think it needs that to give it a little strength, because that's the weak part of the neck right there where the strings are constantly pulling. And a lot of necks break right there. So I think it needs to be there. I like it. Some people don't. And that's okay. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I'll keep that. And I create these vectors here because, like I said, we're in our 3D work. Going to make us readjust our height a little bit. We're carving selected vectors. So that right there is around our heel. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch ball nose, and I'm going to cut it with the offset, which is circular. And the next one will be the center of the neck, still staying with the 1/4 inch ball nose. This time we will raster back and forth. And it does make a difference in cutting the neck as the direction that we're carving. Trust me, I know. So the volute will go back to the offset, which is circular. And then the peg head we will raster. Now we'll do the tool pass to finish cutting it out. We use a 2D profile cut. On the heel it will be the outside of the line. We'll cut all the way through. Now in the real neck I'm going to put a tab in here. Let's just undo that and let's go ahead and do that while we're here. Show you what it looks like. It added the tab right there, and that tab is 1/2 inch high, long, and 1 inch thick. So it's a pretty good sized tab, and that holds the neck in place. And cutting the center of the neck, I do it in 2 different tool paths. The first one will start at 0.9 and then finish cutting all the way through. That one the top one will be cut on the outside of the line. And the other side will be cut on the inside of the line. If you don't, it cuts half of the neck. It cuts the neck completely in two. So we'll change that to the inside, starting depth of 0.9. And then cutting the peg head out. We'll cut it 0.85. And in the real cutting, I would add a tab on both sides of the front here to hold it in place. We're going to project this onto the 3D model. And I'm going to cut these little places out in the peg head. You would actually do this on a bandsaw, but for the purposes of making this video, we're going to go ahead and cut it out here. We're using 1/32 bit. there you have it. Like I said, there's still some tool marks that you have to do a little hand work. And a mandolin neck, you're going to cut it to fit a pocket in the body anyway. But there'll still be a little hand work. Just like I said, this cut out about 90% of your hand work on making a neck.